Hello, my name is Jamar Brown, and I'm an author, keynote speaker, entrepreneur, and above all else, father. And did you know that 77% of all children are quietly suffering from the negative effects of being verbally bullied? So that means chances are you or your child is one of them. And several months ago, as I was watching the TV and seeing yet another story about a young child that was depressed or that committed suicide because of verbal or physical bullying, I was inspired to do something about it. And so I stayed up all night and I wrote about my own personal story of being verbally bullied as a child and how those harsh words that were said to me at such a young age stayed with me throughout my entire life. And I thought about these children and what they're dealing with, and how just a simple word said at the wrong time, at the wrong moment, a simple negative idea placed in their mind can live with them throughout their entire lives. And there's so many kids that are suffering from that. And I know that a lot of focus gets placed on physical bullying, but verbal bullying is more prevalent. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that, unlike a physical scar, doesn't heal. Nobody sees it, and it can stay in a child's heart and soul and mind for their entire life, just as it did myself. However, the beauty of my story is that although I dealt with this issue of being verbally bullied as a child and thinking that I was this name that this child called me, I made some decisions that actually helped me to excel and become very, very successful as a result of that negative comment. And then one day, years later, as I looked back, I actually thanked the bully for calling me that name, because if it hadn't been for the bully calling me that name, I would have never become the person that I became. And so I was inspired to share my story with children and parents to help them know that even though it may seem very difficult and very tough, and they're dealing with the trials and tribulations of their friends and our so-called friends calling them names or negativity and having hurtful words said to them, that there is a way to conquer the mental imprisonment that can happen from being verbally bullied. And so I wrote a book which is called You're Ugly, which is actually what this kid called me when I was a very young child, that stayed with me my entire life. And the book tells a story of little Jimmy, based on my story, and how he's called these two harsh words, "You're ugly," and had no idea that these words could hurt so much. And he grows up thinking that he's ugly, but the good news is that Jimmy makes some decisions that actually helps him become very successful, and then one day looks back and actually thanks the bully. So it's a different twist on bullying, and I wrote it because I was inspired to reach out to these children that are dealing with being verbally bullied and really don't have anyone to turn to or are afraid to speak up, because it's so sensitive, and because these are scars that no one can see, and so they quietly suffer, and I want to help them, and I'm inspired to help them, just as I've tried to work with my own child. I also thought about the adults, because adults that are dealing with issues in their life are actually children that were told hurtful things that they've just lived with their entire life into adulthood. And so I wrote a section called A Message for Parents, which are 7 key things that we as parents can use to help our children develop self-esteem and confidence, so that despite the fact that they're going to deal with verbal bullying, we can't eliminate all physical and verbal bullying, but we can help our children train their mindset to defend themselves mentally against being verbally bullied, so that no matter what someone may say, whether it be negative or harsh word, it doesn't change their sense of self or their confidence or who they believe they are as a person. And that's what I try to do with my daughter, and that's what I do in my motivational talks for parents and audiences all over the world. And so this book is really my gift to you as a parent and to your children, to help you deal with this issue of verbal bullying, to help your children become who they're put on this earth to become, and to excel in life, and actually to be inspired by the negativity that they're going to experience in their life. Because as we know, they're going to experience it. It's going to be tough, but the most successful people in the world are the ones that have dealt with some of the most difficult verbal bullying or negativity in their lives, and they have excelled. And I hope that this book can help give your children that same sense, that no matter what is going on in their lives, no matter what other kids are saying, that they really can excel. So here is an image of the book. It's called You're Ugly, and it is available through lulu.com. That's LULU.com. Click on bookstore, type in "You're Ugly" and you can go ahead and purchase that book for yourself, for your children, for your school, or for your organization. But it's time for us to really do something about the 77% of kids that are quietly suffering from the effects of verbal bullying. So let's band together, let's do something about it, and let's let our kids know that there is hope and they can excel and succeed no matter what negativity is in their lives. Thank you all very much. This is Jamar Brown.